Otunba Bimbo Ashiru was born in Ijebu to the illustrious Ashiru family. His father, late Pa Ashiru, was a distinguished Ijebu statesman, while his mother is from the Fidipote royal family of Ijebu and the ruling house of Owu Ijebu. He is well read, graduating with a degree in marketing, purchasing and supply, and a master's degree in strategic management. With this background, he entered the services of the then Chartered Bank in the year 1989.
When I was growing up as a young child, they used to call me doctor because I have this perspective of life that you have to care for people, you have to take care of people. And unfortunately for me, I wasn't good in physics. So I veered into business. I was very good in government. I remember I had A1 in my school cert, and economics, all the sciences. I wasn't fantastic in science, but I was fantastic in the arts area, government, economics, English, what have you. And I started my career in the banking industry. I had my first degree in marketing, purchasing and supply. And being a marketer, I believe that I should be able to convert people. And banking is a caring business. People don't understand that because I always tell people, there are only three people you cannot lie to in your life. Your doctor, your lawyer, and your banker. And I chose banking then. I mean, I was going to veer into marketing, had a consulting marketing outfit whereby advertising and everything. And I said, no, don't worry. And funny enough, one of my mentors is into advertising. I mean, one of the people you are going to interview. But the point is this, when I started my career, I said, well, I'm set out to have an impact in the society. I started with Chartered Bank then, 1989. I joined with the likes of Tunde Lemo, Frank Atuche, Kolajula. About 5 of us joined the same day, September, probably 18th, 1989. And I was in credit and marketing. Then I happened to be one of the people that started private banking in the bank. With private banking, I was able to meet a lot of people in my career, manage them, see how their investment can be. And I became an investment advisor to some of these people. And I became very close to most of these people. And during that process, starting my career, as young bankers, we go from one bank to the other. And I still came back to Chartered Bank, which is now known as Stanbic IBTC. And I rose to the directorate level. I was director of branch network, and all the branches in the country, they were under me. And I started, it's a funny world, I veered into marketing again. I was in charge of marketing, CSI, and investment. Then later, I became the group head of public sector before I was called by my state to become the Commissioner for Commerce and Industry. And so that is how I started. And I still happen to be the first Commissioner for Commerce and Industry in Ogun State that I've done that I did 2 terms, 8 years. And I'm very proud of our achievement there as Commissioner. I remember those days. 75% of foreign direct investment that birthed in this country were in Ogun State. Ogun State has become industrial hub. Ogun State was the only state in Nigeria then, during our own term, whereby the president visited severally to commission industries. And I remember the statement made by President Goodluck Jonathan. He said, I commend you, was commending my boss then, the former governor, for creating that enabling environment for business to thrive in your state. And I'm very proud and happy that I'm being part of your success story. And the minister then, former Minister for Trade and Investment, Dr. Segun Aganga, in his book, pages 121 and 122, actually acknowledged my performance, all the jobs I did with my colleagues and especially my boss to bring in industries into Ogun State. And I remember the issue of ease of doing business in Nigeria. Ogun State was actually rated number 35. I met with all the stakeholders and took my colleague, my team, met with the World Bank, and we were able to convince them of the various innovations, various changes that we've made in Ogun State, whereby we were able to show them. For example, business premises, business permit for you to have business and do. We were we were number 35 out of number 36. And I was able to convince them, because then it may take you about between 3 and 6 months for you to register to get the business permit. I was able to introduce 24 hours. But Cardinal tried to do. And we moved from number 36 to number 5. And the year after, 2 years after, in 2008, by the time I was leaving, we moved to number 4 in the whole of the country. So these are areas that you look back and say, oh, I've contributed my quota. And it's a way of saying that, well, I've served my people diligently well. I am happy that in private sector and public sector, I was able to distinguish myself.
So my experience with Otunba, Bimbo, Ashiru has been a pleasant one. It goes back to when he worked in the same organization where I was CEO. So and that was more than a decade ago. And I think the important thing to point out is that it's a relationship that has endured, and he was always a hard worker, always diligent, a good networker, had integrity, showed integrity. So it's a relationship that was a work relationship that has carried on thereafter, even though we have now gone to separate places in terms of employment. So he's somebody that I know well, and I'm happy that he's being honored by your organization. I've already given a hint, but I think dedication to whatever you're doing. Also, it's important that you maintain good interpersonal skills, good relations with those you work with. Also, he also has very good networking skills. Yeah, but over and above also the personal values in terms of, discipline, loyalty, integrity. So these are, the most important qualities. I would even downplay things like his high energy level, because sometimes, people say, but there are many who have energy. But I'm talking about energy, positive energy, pulled or pushed in the right direction. So there are many qualities out there which I've already listed. I would just like to share that, interestingly, Otunba, Bimbo Ashiru, was one of those employees who came into the organization through a merger. When you employ people one by one, it's a different thing, because each person arrives on a different day. You have a chance to study them. He was one of a large number of people that arrived on the same day, because IBTC acquired, two retail banks on the same day. So, given that handicap, to slowly distinguish yourself from that crowd of new faces, it's something that one does not take for granted. And it was clear that he was one of the stronger assets that we had brought into the bank through this merger. So it was a case of saying that his skills and strengths became so obvious and they were visible, and helped to differentiate him from many others. So those are my parting words, and that whatever we do in life, is good to be able to distinguish and differentiate yourself, to show your own strongest qualities, like he has done. Thank you.
In a successful career that has spanned 2 decades and taken him to various institutions, he has served in various capacities of management: head, private banking unit; branch manager; head, institution and professional banking; regional coordinator; country director; personal and business banking; director; corporate affairs and corporate social investments, until his last position of group head, public sector with Stanbic IBTC Bank.
Yes, like I always tell people, if you look at my profile, it's there that I have passion to grow people, to help the younger ones. And I have so many mentees, the way I have mentors too. And the point is that for you to be able to say you have achieved a lot in life. You must be able to point at people that you have actually helped, people that you have supported, people that you have trained. And I will tell you this, when I was in the banking industry, I don't believe in boss-subordinate relationship. I believe in peer relationship. I remember we introduced something in the bank. They call it multi-rater, 360 degrees measurement performance. And you'll be rated by your subordinates, your peers, and your bosses, and you will rate yourself. I think I came out to be number, I think it's about 90-something%. Because till today, if I pick my phone and I call Stanbic, we need something, it will be done for me. Because I've created that environment. Until today, my boss, my former chairman, Ashiru side, I still call him, my boss, because I see him as a great mentor. So these are the people that you talk to and the people that you grow, the young ones. You see, you need to encourage them and you need to let them know that, look, things will be better. You see, most of them, they are Japan now, running out of the country. Yes, Nigeria is still a place there. But you see, the point is this, they want leadership. They want people that can make jobs. Because see, the issue here is when you talk about values, they want to trust people. The trust must be there. I remember when I joined to serve in Ogun State, and I was meeting with my colleagues, the permanent secretary, the directors, and we're talking. I said, come, ladies and gentlemen, the only collateral I'm bringing here is my integrity, and I want to live with it intact. So I will do things rightly. I'm going to be just, equitable, and fair. And those are my principles. And then when you have values, and don't forget my background, we were brought up, my father used to tell us, I remember the child of who you have. So that value is still there until today, and I've imbibed that in my children, because it's important that you let people know what, you see, money is not everything. I can tell you, I served in the bank, I worked as a banker, I worked for almost 30 years of my career with unblemished track record. As a commissioner for 8 years, I left Ogun State with unblemished track record. Nobody can say, oh, I bribed Bimbo, I did. No, I don't compromise. And if it's possible, I will tell you it's possible. If it's not possible, I'll tell you it's not possible. There are some times that things will come and people will come to you and say, oh, you want to get this done, what is your price? And I said, no, I'm not going to name my price. I want to make sure that you solve this. Because you see, I tell people, the customer are your greatest asset. People don't get that right. When you go to the banks, the clients of the bank, the customers are the assets, because it is the commission, the charges that comes from all those transactions that they used to pay your salary. So when you get your salary, you must make sure that you are loyal, you are committed, and you sustain it. And that's the most important thing. So I don't allow myself to be guided with peer pressure. My friend is doing it, but no, I don't do that. I am Bimbo. I'm Bimbo of Bimbo myself. So I don't compromise that. And when you don't compromise, the values are there, the standards are there, and the integrity comes in. And like I always tell people, integrity is when you are doing the right thing, when nobody is watching you. That's what they call integrity. So, and those are the values I want to imbibe in my life, and that's what I want to be remembered for, as long as I live in Bimbo. And when I live in my God's will, my older age, those are the things I want to see.
He is a member of the Metropolitan Club, Ikoyi Club, 1938, and a member of the Ijebu Heritage Group and Ijebu Renaissance Group. Otunba Ashiru is a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Bankers, FCIB, Institute of Strategic Management of Nigeria, National Institute of Marketing of Nigeria, FNIMN, and Chartered Institute of Commerce of Nigeria.
Bimbo Ashiru, Otunba Bimbo Ashiru, around 1981 or 82. So that's almost 40 years ago. And we've been friends since that time. I remember I played a very important role at his wife's 21st birthday. And I think the lady is almost 60 now, so you can imagine how long we have been together. He's a very excellent gentleman, very kind, very considerate, very polite, very humble, very approachable, and extremely hardworking, and quite forthright as a human being. He's somebody whose company and whose presence I enjoy very much. and there's a lot of mutual respect. He's an excellent man, excellent. And he comes from an excellent family. I know most members of his family. They're very distinguished people. And I thank God for their lives and for their ability to carry on. One of his brothers was a former ambassador. A couple of them corporate giants in their own respects. A great doctor, professor, fantastic family. So I'm very grateful for their lives. One is good ethical and moral values. In this country where there's so much corruption, where a lot of sound behavior is no longer respected or recognized, Otunba Ashiru still stands as one of the few men who still have some ethical, I'm not saying he's perfect, I'm not saying he's not made some mistakes, I'm not saying that he does not have aspirations here and there, but by and large, he still has a fear of God that constrains his whatever social outcomes he has. So that's something children or youth should emulate. It comes from very, very sound. You can see he was very well brought up with great values. So that's very important. We don't have enough of that anymore in Nigeria. In Nigeria, the end justifies the means, and it doesn't matter what people do. So that's one. Two is his hard work. He's a very hardworking person. You can see he's hardworking. Number three is his family values. You can see a man who cares very, very much for his family. You know, his wife, his children, he's there for them. And I'm sure he meets a lot of his obligations and responsibilities. Number four, I say he's a very respectful man. You should see how he respects his elder brothers, how he treats them, how he respects people he considers elders, and even his peers, you know. And I've not ever heard anybody say a bad word about him, because we belong to the same circle of friends. And even to his in-laws, very, very respectful, very, very caring, very, very evident. And he's a man who minds his business, goes about doing his own thing. He has his aspirations. He aspired to be governor of his state. He tried his best. He didn't succeed that time around, but who knows what the future will hold, you know. And he's a man with very, very good intentions, very helpful. He's been very, very supportive of me and whatever I do. So I'm thankful to God for that. He's a good friend. That's what I can say, a brother. Another thing I know is that he has a very deep love for Nigeria. He's very passionate about Nigeria. He's passionate about seeing things work properly in Nigeria. We've shared ideas on that. He's appeared on my platform a few times. He's appeared on my platform to speak. He's always there regularly on my platform, the African Leadership Group, and his comments and his observations and his contributions are very, very valuable. So I know he's passionate about Nigeria. I know he has a deep love and respect for the heritage and the cultural values of Nigeria. He's very close to the KBSC, the paramount ruler of Ijebu-Ode, who he supports very, very assiduously. I think he belongs to that royal family branch somehow, I think, and so on and so forth. So he has a love for culture, a love for heritage, a respect for people, a great business person, was a fantastic banker in those days in the bank. And right now he's chairman of Odua Group. So people have acknowledged his capacity and his intellect and his response. So I really, really want to thank him. It's not easy in this Nigeria to keep your head up high. You know, he's also very focused, very intentional, and very bold, very brave. You know, takes on challenges very, very well. So I want to thank him, and I want to encourage him that he shouldn't relent, he shouldn't give up, should continue to remember whose son he is, and he should continue to fight hard for Nigeria and for the masses and for the well-being of this country. And I want him to know that he has a great friend in me, a great supporter, someone who loves him very much and who will do his best to ensure that he succeeds. I wish him and his lovely wife and his beautiful children the very best in life. God bless you.
People go to where they are comfortable. Comfort, security, and trust is very key here. We must get to a level whereby, and I believe the present president is working on it, Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I pray with the kind of people he has, I believe he'll be able to achieve that, because he's a business-minded person. He's distinguished himself in different areas. For example, when he was in Mobile, as the governor of Lagos State, and I believe yes. The point is this: what I found out is this: in the last 4 years, for the last 8 years, you could see that people were not, they couldn't trust their government. The trust is not there anymore. When you start buying, people that were sending their children abroad to go and school there, when I remember my children's school abroad, I go through the bank with seamless effort, apply for school fees, and it's transferred to them without you don't need to bribe anybody. But now it's became gold. It's as if we are buying, they're doing you a favor. We are paying for the service all over the world. You go across, you buy your dollars, you bring dollars, you want to buy euro, you buy euro. You go to any bank in America, you want to buy pounds, you are good. So those are the things the values that we have there. But the younger ones, they have issues. They graduated, some graduated in first class, no jobs. Some graduated 2-1, even third class, they have no jobs. And we have universities coming up on regular basis. I asked the question when I heard that during the time of President Buhari, that they approved about 50 or how many, I can't remember how many universities. And I asked the question that as we are approving these universities, I hope we are creating jobs for these people. You can't be approving something and it's not done. You can't continue to create that thing. Yes, education is very key. As if I'm the president of Nigeria today, one of my priority areas is education, health, and economic development. But the point is this: you cannot be creating universities, schools, without having, when these people graduate, where do they go to? So the point is this: when you create that, you have universities, they graduated with flying colors, and they have no job. Then they will sit down. But fun enough, that shouldn't be blamed on issues like that. They can be creative. The guy that started Google, but you see, there must be infrastructure to support them. And that's what when I talk about culture, those are the issues that I talk about. Because those young guys, they feel, somebody graduated 5 years, 6 years, no job. Then the next thing, probably, let me see what I can do. You see them getting involved in armed robbery, 419, kidnapping. I remember when we were in Ogun State, the highest cyber crime was in Ogun State, because those guys are very, so the government has said, well, if you can use this brain to steal, then let's bring you into the fold and see how we can help you to use your brain to do. So the point is this: I sympathize with the young ones, youths, because the environment was not there. I remember those days when we were young, our brothers, when they schooled abroad, they come back home, the jobs are waiting for them. They actually pick, they choose, maybe 5 jobs are waiting for them, and immediately they start the job, they give them cars, get these things, and they rise through the ranks. Those people in their 70s, those are things they benefited from. But these ones, even, when there's no job, who's going to buy a car? So the point is that we need a government that will encourage all these children, help them so that they can start, eventually they come back home. But like I always say, that home is sweet. People eventually come back. But those are the issues. They don't trust their government. The confidence is not there. The issue of values, job and employment, so how they can't cope, and that's the problem.
In recognition of his selfless service to society and having distinguished himself as a true son of Ijebu land, Otunba Bimbo Ashiru was presented with the royal title of Otunba Adiono Fusigboye of Ijebu land in December 2006 by His Royal Majesty, the Awujale and paramount ruler of Ijebu land, Oba Dr. Sikiru Kayode Adetono. CFR.
Want me to tell you the truth? The truth is this. We have so many technocrats. I happen to be on a platform. I'm going to join them today too, whereby we, on Zoom every Thursday, it's organized by Pastor Itua. Every Thursday we have all these things. And we now ask them questions. They will come in there. Some people are good at criticizing government. It's just like when you see people watching football match, they criticize the players. Oh no, why? You should eat it. But when you get to that sport, so what I'm saying is that, and I asked the question, I said, why is there any problem when people get to serve government? Now you are criticizing, you are bringing ideas, you are technocrats, you are professors, and when you get there, you do something else. Are they cursed there, or is there any medicine, a drug that they use? When I have, and I have answered the question myself, that I have served school for 8 years. I never changed. My principles, my values are still there. So I think, and my mother, may God bless her soul, she always says that never say somebody is a nice person, a kind person, until the person has power and money. So the point is, I'm trying to raise that I think it is individualistic way. And I always say that it is the ability, it is the characteristics that is inherent and individual that determine how you run your show. And that's why I tell people that when you criticize someone like Buhari, you criticize former President Yar'Adua, I said, no, you will run your show to the best of your ability. You cannot give what you don't have. So Buhari has run Nigeria to the best of his ability. The problem now is that whether it is favorable to Nigerians or not favorable, that's another issue entirely. So if you know it's not favorable, then a country deserves the leader they voted for. So we must now start looking at people that have the sincerity of purpose, who can run the country genuinely, and will do the nice thing. They have the passion, they have the vision, and they have the mission for the country. So if you are saying, so that is the best it could give, and that is it. So that's the best. The technocrats, maybe we overrated them. Maybe they are not even what we think they are. So that's why I'm saying that individuals, because there are some people that when they are in government, they still do a lot of things. I mean, I remember during the time of Angida, he brought the best crop of technocrats in this world, in Nigeria and all over the world. Well recognized. Professor, may God bless his soul, Professor Bab Fafunwa, Professor Olikoye Ransom Kuti, I did Kalu Idika. Fantastic people. I mean, and we had the likes of Prince Julius, Adin Louis, we have very prominent Nigerians who have this. I mean, Alhaji Abaka was. I mean, these are technocrats. We have the likes of Ashiru today. They ran during the war regime. We had they call them super permanent secretary, So we had people, and you see the values that were put in the civil service. And I always tell people, when you talk about technocrats, people don't talk about our landlords and landladies. Who are they? The civil servants. There was this big culture, disciplined, no corruption. We've been hearing now, Accountant General, Auditor General having 6 billion, 120 billion. Come on, faith. Civil servants. So what is something? There's a problem. So it's a chain that they are all. So once they do that, they compromise the technocrats. So the ability of the technocrats to say, no, I am not. I mean, I was in government. If you bring anything for me to sign, I will ask you. They will write it. You may wish to approve. No, you must recommend for my approval and tell me the reason why I should approve it. Because if you say you may, that means that it's at my own discretion to approve it. So when I now approve it and there's a problem in future, EFCC coming, well, we told him this is what we feel, but our own views. But we must say this is. I mean, in the banking industry, when we are making approval requests, we say these are the reasons. In view of this, these are the reasons, cogent reasons why this thing must be approved, why we must disburse this, why we must do that, and in view of this, kindly approve. You've brought your suggestion, so you are in it, you believe in it, and you want to be approved. But the civil servants will tell you, blah blah blah. In view of this, you may wish to. So it's at your discretion to say yes or no, because they've put. But if you believe in something, you will recommend it. There's a difference between recommendation or approval or suggesting. So those are the areas that people need to look at. And so the issue of technocrats, you overrate the technocrats. Who are they? Some people are good at criticizing, but when they get there, they do something else. It's just like some pastors will tell you in church, or bishops or imams to say something, but they are not walking the talk. People must be able to walk the talk, and I can tell you that. So, like they say, I'm a front door. I've seen outside, I've seen inside. So I've seen the way things are done. As a banker, I can say with all modesty that I've distinguished myself. As a public servant, a commissioner, with all modesty, I think I've tried my best. So those are the areas we need to look at. They get there, and I think people just get carried away. And that is the values.
He is a recipient of numerous awards in recognition of his outstanding contribution to society and his people. These include, but are not limited to, Best Commissioner of the Year 2015, Most Outstanding Commissioner, amongst others.
I will tell you something. I have so many mentors and so many role models. For one, my father happens to be one. My late father, may God bless his soul. My brother, I have my brothers. One of them is late former Minister for Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Ashiru. I have another brother, Debola Ashiru, who's late too. I have another one, Professor. So, Ashiru. Then I have my bosses. My former MD, when I was in Chartered Bank, Mr. Ayola Gundwe, is a role model. My former chairman, my MD, former boss, Atedo Peter Side, is a role model. These are people that knows values. Mr. Biodun Shobanjo, Dr. Biodun Shobanjo, is a role model. So I have so many of them like that I look up to, I respect, because they are people of high values. They believe in the values of things. I have few of them like that. I have I call him Egbon Sholadeyo. See, these are people that will tell you how things are. And my referred father too, the Aujal of Yebulan, is a role model. It's like a father figure to me. For example, I won't do anything without consulting with him. The few times when I was offered the commissionership, himself and Atedo Peter Side were the two people I told my former governor to go and take permission from to talk to. Because these are people that I know that they have values. And Aujal will say it as it is, even in his old age. So if I want to do anything, I have to talk to him. So I have so many role models like that, mentors, and I do the same for the younger ones. So I mentor. I have a lot of mentees too.
He is currently the chairman of Oduas Investment Company Limited, a conglomerate jointly owned by the 6 southwestern states of Nigeria.
I will tell you this. You see, what I always tell people, which people don't understand, is we have 36 states in this country, plus Abuja making 37. I remember vividly when I was commissioner, the issue of commerce, economic development, interstate transactions. See, we look at states. States will look at areas where they have comparative and competitive advantage over others. And they do bilateral relationship, they do bilateral trading. For example, in Ogun State, I know that the cassava is being grown there. You have Adire. I remember when with the first loan we gave, Bank of Industry loan, in 2012 or so, all the Adire materials that were used during the Olympics and during the Commonwealth, they were from Ogun State. And those are the people we gave BOI loans to, and single-digit loans. And they broke even within 3 months. Because you see, there are so many areas where most of the state governments, they need to help the SMEs, the small, medium-scale industries. Because those are the areas, these are the people that will help to drive the business. They are the driver of any economy in the world. They constitute 95% of all businesses. You see all those small shops, you see all these big ones, they constitute probably less than 10%. So now, how will states take advantage of that? First of all, we must create that enabling environment. And what do I mean by that? Necessary infrastructure must be put in place. Look at our farmers. They plant so many things. And I just said it yesterday, Nigeria has no business being an import-dependent economy. Our business should be an export-dependent economy. I remember when President King came to Nigeria, he said, Nigerians, you have no reason to be begging for money all over the world, that your resources, your wealth is here. And we're a country that produces oil, cruise. We're a country that we have cocoa, we have cassava. I went to Malaysia some years ago when I was in government. They showed us the seeds of palm kernel that they took from Nigeria. They even do as much as chewing gum, because we met with the minister and the president. Chewing gum. So the point is this, they came here in the 80s. They've done a lot. In the 80s, when they came here, there was no Dubai. It's the focus. And that's when you say interstate. States must be able to do, okay, for example, your state, Ogun State, excuse me. For example, look at the Odua, which I happen to be the chairman by the grace of God. Odua is owned by the 4th largest economy in this country. By all the 6 states, they are the 4th largest economy in this country, in Africa. So you can imagine Lagos, Ogun, Oyo, and I can see what is happening now with Odua, the support we are getting from our state government and what they are trying to do with Dawn Commission with Odua. Fantastic thing. Agriculture, we just established SWACO, Southwest Agricultural Company. But the point is that there must be that relationship, interrelationship, bilateral relationship among the states. For them, there shouldn't be any competition. If I'm good in cassava, let us trade with this. Look at it. We're talking about tomatoes since the kidnapping days. Tomatoes, we're bringing tomatoes from the north. So the south, we have good land that we can till agricultural farming. And most of our the farmers, they have now turned to Okada driver. But when the governor started banning them, they started going back to agriculture. But having said that, when they do all these things, they do the cultivation and everything, how do they get them to the final consumers? There was something we did. The first ethanol factory that we commissioned in Ogun State, in Nigeria, they were using about 280 tons of cassava on a daily basis. You can imagine it created 15,000 jobs for farmers there. So those are the areas we need to look at. The focus should be agriculture that will lead into industrialization. How do we achieve that? We must be able to create the necessary infrastructure. Infrastructure must have good roads. The rural dwellers must be able to drive conveniently. There are some journeys within the locality that should take 30 minutes. It takes 3 hours, 4 hours. So how do you, the farmer is already done. The things are spoiled, rotten. So there must be concerted efforts by states among themselves to focus on how they can do agriculture that will lead to industrialization. So how would they do that? What should we do? And that is it. But the focus must be there. But you see, we look at, remember when we were in the bank, we give loans to all these briefcase offices. They have only 2 employees. They only employ 2 staff. They have only staff, maybe 2 or 3 members of staff in their office. The nice office in Victoria Island. Nestle, Cadbury's, GSK Pharma, P&G, that are creating jobs, employing 2,000, 3,000 people. If they ask for 500 million loan, we tell them to cost them their arm and a leg. Meanwhile, those guys with briefcases, we have 3 staff members, they are not creating anything. They can ask for $5 million because they are going to turn around. And those are the things that kill the banking industry during those days when they have the run on the banks. Because what happened? They were giving the loans when the foreign exchange rate during the Soludo time, exchange it was 80, they took the loan at 85 or so, and the thing went to 150. Problems. How would they pay back? No. So, issues. But if you give it to Cadbury's of this world, Nestle's of this world, they are manufacturing, the factory is there. You know what they are doing, they create jobs for people. So, by giving them that loan, we are helping them to add more to create jobs. But if we haven't said that now, all these are export proceeds, what are they doing with them? They keep them offshore and they still come back here to compete. Look at what he created. He created billionaires overnight. Nigeria is not, you can't be trading in foreign exchange. No. It's supposed to be, you can't go to South Africa in Africa and just take money. No. You must be able to, there must be a system in place to track how these transactions are done. You must be able to track them. You must be able to follow them. You see, the point is this. The system is in place in this country. If you want to do it, we want to do it. Don't forget that those days, when you go to the bank, you drop your check. I don't know how old you are, so I don't know whether you made that. You drop your check, you collect tally number. You only want to collect 1,000 or 2,000 naira. You go and do whatever you want to do. You come back 3 hours later, and you get your money. Maybe you want to collect 500. So, but now, on your phone, you can transfer 1 million naira. So things are evolving, ages of technology. Things are getting better. And I can assure you, Nigeria will still get better.
Otunba Bimbola Ashiru is happily married to Olukemi Ashiru, a lawyer, and they are blessed with 2 lovely children. Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome Otunba Bimbola Ashiru.